Well, there's one player that I think almost everybody would agree was like that dude this weekend, and that was Brandon Aiyuk. Brandon Aiyuk is somebody that we talked about all offseason, had a phenomenal training camp. You saw it in the brief glimpses that he played in the preseason. This guy is always open, and he showed it again on Sunday. He is unguardable, or was at least this last Sunday. Do you believe that the 49ers should make him the focus in the passing game? You got Kittle, who's now, 30 years old. Debo's got the big contract. He's labeled as the number one receiver. He's a team captain. But Aiyuk, to me, right now, seems like he might be the best weapon when it comes to the passing game. I believe he should be featured. I believe he's shown that. Do you believe Aiyuk should be the feature focal point in the pass game?
I think Aiyuk will finish his career as a top 3 receiver for the 49ers. That's how good I think Aiyuk is. And I know, we obviously have some of the best receivers come through and wear, a 49ers jersey.
Yeah.
But Aiyuk is the first receiver we've had in quite some time, maybe since Terrell Owens. We had Randy Moss for that little bit, but I'm saying like actual, like a 49er type guy that could do the wow catches and go up and get the ball where, in an elite way that those elite receivers do. We know he's an elite route runner, but his ability, and we saw it in that catch that he made over Patrick Peterson, at the corner of the end zone, like those are elite catches that only top level receivers are able to make. And we've heard Brandon Aiyuk make these type of catches all through training camp. And now we're starting to see it translate. And I think it's starting to translate because his relationship with Brock Purdy is getting better. And then also because he's getting the opportunity, right? So before, I think that, it was primarily get the ball to Debo and give him that opportunity to go be a weapon. But when you're talking about just a pure wide receiver, I think Brandon Aiyuk is by far the best that the 49ers have. And I think he has the type of talent that, he'll finish up top 3. And, to me, it's Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens, and I think Brandon Aiyuk will be somewhere in there as well once all said and done.
Hey, that's a bold take, and I love it. I don't know if there's anything that Brandon Aiyuk can't do. I am so impressed with him. We've seen the ascension over the last couple of years. This year, it just seems like a different level. If this is the Brandon Aiyuk we're going to get all year, somebody who's routing players up on a regular basis, I think he is fully arrived. I believe he's a top 10 receiver in this form, no doubt about it. And of course, if he can continue this, can he pass somebody who's fantastic like a John Taylor? I don't know, but I think that he's pretty damn good. And there have been some good receivers that have spent time in 49ers uniforms, but they were not true 49ers. So I'm not going to count them, the Bruces, the Boldens, the Mosses, those types of guys. I know a couple of you guys mentioned Brandon Lloyd. Brandon Lloyd was so underrated. I mean, talk about somebody who had full control of their body. Brandon Lloyd was that deal for a while, but
Crabtree.
Crabtree was good, yep. But I think Aiyuk potentially can be better than all of them. I definitely see the skill set, and I think it's a bold take, but I love bold takes, so I'm with it, man. I'm absolutely with it. To me, it's not even close who the number one receiving weapon is on this team at this moment, and I think it's Aiyuk. And I hope he gets paid, and I hope he stays a Niner for a long time.
And it's obviously his route running, obviously his ability to, moss receivers, but also his blocking. I mean, that Christian McCaffrey touchdown, I've seen so many breakdowns of it. Baldy broke it down. Like, there's so many videos of what Aiyuk was able to do with that pancake block and what Ray was able to do running down. And, I was watching the Monday night game, and you saw Garrett Wilson on Breece Hall's, big rushing attempt. He's over there celebrating, thinking that Brees was going to go ahead and run it into the end zone when he had the guy that he's supposed to have blocked was the one who ended up tackling Brees. So it's like that's a different mentality that, you know, a lot of people, you know, and obviously I'm a Shannon fan, whatever, talk about Shanahan's inability to develop quarterbacks. But he was really, really hard on Brandon Aiyuk because Aiyuk didn't have that mentality when he first came in. He knew what Aiyuk was capable of, and he was putting Aiyuk in the doghouse, wasn't giving him playing time. It wanted him to elevate himself to the next level. And we're starting to see that come into fruition because the way he blocks, the way he runs his routes, the way he catches the ball, he's turning into the real deal. And to me, you have to give credit to Kyle Shanahan for bringing this out of him because he had pure raw talent when he first was drafted, which is why they went up and got him in the first round. But he wasn't bringing this level of intensity game after game after game. And now we're seeing it. And because of how hard I think Shanahan was, mixed with the work ethic that Aiyuk has, because obviously he's done all the work to put himself in this position. That's why I'm so confident that he's going to go down as one of the 49er greats at the position.
Yeah, most definitely. Big Heck says, did you guys see JT's take on Brock Purdy's film? Yeah, I actually just watched it before I went live. I always try to catch his film breakdowns. I think he does a phenomenal job. I rarely disagree with anything that he says, and I think he was spot on in his film breakdown for sure. If you haven't seen it, I would recommend watching it. I always do. Shout out to JT, friend of the show. Obviously, he's been here before, and I highly recommend watching his stuff if you want to learn a thing or two for sure. But yeah, Aiyuk is so damn good. And it's funny because for years, and I spelled his name wrong, which is so blasphemous. My gosh, what are we doing? But it's so weird because I remember when he was first drafted that a lot of people were really big on CeeDee Lamb and how much better CeeDee Lamb was. And you know, they should have gotten CeeDee Lamb and screw Brandon Aiyuk, but he is so good. And I made an argument. I have a Dallas Cowboys fan that is one of my good friends. And I argued with him for the first 2 years that he's every bit as good as CD. And he's like, no way, no way. And then the stats started to kind of separate. I think that Aiyuk might start to close that door if at least, close that gap and get back in the conversation if he continues to play the way that he is to start this season. He's absolutely amazing. So,
and that was a ridiculous wide receiver class.
Phenomenal.
And
absolutely phenomenal.
Aiyuk is right up there. I mean, obviously, I think Jefferson probably has the strong lead right now, but still, you know, Aiyuk is right up there as far as worth the first round pick at this point.
Yeah, most definitely. He's 100% worth it. And I mean, at this point, other than Bosa, going to be probably the only guy that they drafted in the first round that they extended. Like, okay, great. Mm-hmm. We'll take it.